Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to round 12 of the Radical Sim Racing European Championship 2024 live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me is Aaron Smith with Lee Thompson bringing you this stream on our YouTube channel. And this should be a very significant round of the season before the World Finals next month. We are going to decide who is going to qualify. It is the top 10 in the pros and top 10 in the AMs who are going to get those lucrative positions. And there's plenty to play for tonight, Aaron, and these drivers are going to have to perform at their best if they're going to have a chance at claiming the world title in a month's time.
Well, it's quite the circuit to finish on, isn't it? At the Nordschleife, you know, some drivers we were just discussing before we went live are on the cusp of getting into that top 10. So those drivers are going to be under a lot of pressure today. And we were also discussing if the, battle for the championship lead itself should spice up. Drivers like James Barry, who currently has a fairly decent lead in the pros, it has been struggling this week at the Nordschleife. The race on Friday that we have every single week here on Apex Racing TV, I think he was out on the first lap. And during practice, he didn't look all that comfortable around here. So James Barry could be under a bit of pressure, and Christoph Lipp and Andreas Friedrich look really, really quick. So it's going to be a very, very close one for the pros. I think the AMs are a bit more dead set. I think Adam Lockett's just looked ridiculously good these past few rounds. And, well, Sam, are you familiar with who won the last round?
I am not actually. I think the last one I attended was Philippine, which was a really good round of the championship. We had a few issues in the second race with drivers entering the pits, but no, tell me who has the momentum going into this round.
I honestly could give you about 10 guesses and you probably wouldn't get it. It was Lelive who won the whole thing.
I'm a big Lelive fan. Back at Monza, I think he qualified really well, and I was like, this guy means business. And unfortunately, he hasn't always delivered, I think, to his absolute max as Lelive. I think he could have scored more points. But no, I'm very pleased to hear that he managed to get that race win. I think it's even though he's an AM, I am not totally shocked.
Yeah, he was just absolutely rapid last week. It was helped a little bit by that slipstream, as we all saw. The slipstream at Spa is just mental, especially in these cars, as Wrighton really chucking it in to this midsection of the lap. And qualifying, I'm not sure how much it matters here, really. I guess it's just bragging rights that, I'm fast at the Nordschleife, but The key here is just sticking to your lines, making sure you keep it clean, and you'll probably pick up 5 or 10 positions. We've got a bit of a small grid today. I think we've got about 16 or 17 drivers, so a bit smaller than we're used to. But nevertheless, should be quite a good finale. As that's Barry just going a tad wide through there.
As the drivers are currently setting their first lap times, let's have a look at the points at the moment in the championships. And of course, it's particularly important. Today we've got James Barry at the top there, 10 points clear, ahead of Friedrich and Lip. I don't believe they get any like bonuses going into the world finals. Maybe it's like some I'll double check, but I think there maybe like there's some bonus points for like race wins. But yeah, Barry currently at the top, and he'll want to win the normal season. But those guys are absolutely safe. Where it gets interesting is that 10th position. Alexander Skuret is around tonight, but he needs to score decently because Veitsonen is around, Iani is around, and Gordon Hawk are around. They've all got a chance. Hawk may be a very slim one. It's probably Veitsonen and Iani the most likely drivers to promote themselves back into the top 10.
I think Gordon would have to win the entire thing in both races to stand a chance. But here in the AMS, like I was talking about earlier, Adam Locke has just been really, really good these past few rounds. Of course, didn't manage to beat Lelive last time out, but then again, I think Lelive was first, obviously, and then the next closest AM driver was 13th, really just showing the difference there. So no one could really compete with him. But I think Adam Locke has got this one on lock. Berger has been pretty good this
How many times have you made that? How many times have you said that this season?
Well, if you were here, you'd know.
I'd know. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the top 10 for the AMS is a lot more dead set than the pros. I don't think anyone is really fighting in the AMS for the top 10 positions. I can't really see anyone who's currently in the lobby that I think would be able to get in. But nevertheless, it could still be on for that championship fight. Maybe if Gabriel Berger can pull off a master class. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, we'll see how they get on. And yeah, no word of bonus points actually in the rules, so it should literally just be a complete reset. And also, just another thing, like, of course, it is top 10 who get through from the pro and the AMS. However, there is the opportunity for wildcard spots if the organisers deem that someone has earned a spot, even though they haven't necessarily scored the points necessarily, they may get promoted. And also, if a driver isn't able to attend the World Finals, their slot may go to someone else. So, whilst you want to get into the top 10 and absolutely book your place in the World Final, there's still an advantage to be in 11th, because if one person drops out, then you are going to be first reserve compared to being 12th. So, everything to play for, even if these drivers don't necessarily qualify into the top 10. But anyone who's familiar with the Norths will be familiar with this part of the circuit, and we are coming to the end of it. The mini carousel coming up, an awful corner, really, really tricky to get through. But this time, Adam Locke, very safe through there, and soon we'll be on the Dottinger, the extremely long straight we have here. And of course, no GP layout for this circuit. We are just using the Nordschleife, so only about 3 more corners to go.
I don't really know any other series that just uses the Nordschleife. It usually is just the Radicals. Everyone else at least has that small section at the start of the Nürburgring. So I think it's good that we are just using the normal layout. It doesn't get used terribly often. Even in real life, I don't think it really gets used often, like ever. But
yeah, it's pretty much just for like drivings, isn't it? Like the amateurs who get to go
pretty much. Yeah, it's just the people that get to tour around the circuit, but it's not really used for racing. But here we go then towards the end of our first few laps. Gordon Haug is the first one to set a lap, and he's currently being beaten by literally everyone who's crossed the line so far, as Friedrich goes on top of the pops with a 6:19.8. He looked good during the practice session, didn't look so good during the week though, but maybe he's done some work over the past few days to amend that, as Melis goes into 7th place. That was definitely a bit of an easy take a lap time. And well, that's the thing here at the Nordschleife with these lap times, is do you just take it easy, get a lap on the board. As we all know, it's very, very easy to mess it up here. Very unforgiving track, and especially in a faster car like the Radical SR10, it's even easier to make a mistake, as this car, if it snaps on you, it's gonna go. It's super, super difficult to catch the slide, especially on an unforgiving track like this. And it's one of the... I'd say it's a difficult lap to get right, but once you do, it's just beautiful in this car. It feels so, so good.
Yeah, it's a really great... Oh, well, that might be a 1x, I'm not entirely sure. A little bit of grass picked up by Menno de Graaf. Not too difficult to avoid the 1x's here. I mean, this is a brilliant circuit for the safety rating, obviously, which won't be contributed for today because this is a league session, of course, so it's only the officials that will count towards. But yeah, this is a super satisfying circuit once you're competent on it. Like, I remember many years ago, like 2017, 2016, doing VLN qualifying, as it used to be called back then, and trying to get into the top 30 odd places so you get into top split, and just, yeah, really like churning away every sort of month to try to get into those top positions. And even though it's a bit of a grind, there's no better circuit to grind than this one, because there's always more room to improve, and it's just got such a fantastic flowing nature to it. De Graaf, across the line, it wasn't a 1x. He goes to 9th place, that's second out of the Alps.
Yeah, definitely going to want to improve on that lap time. And I wonder how many people, not only in this session, but anyone watching as well, I wonder how many people out of all of us have actually been to the Nordschleife. I'm planning to go with some friends, I think, sometime next year, because I just want to experience this track. And I probably should buy some new tyres first, because they are going to get absolutely tortured around here. But I would definitely love to come here and experience the Nürburgring, not only just to drive it, but just to experience a race day at some point, and it would be a really, really fun time. There's lots to do in Germany in terms of motorsport, as I'm sure a lot of us know, so definitely should be a good time. And another thing, of course, going on in Germany is the Sim Expo. Soon, I think. I don't think I'm going this year, but I'm aware that it's sometime soon.
Yeah, it's next weekend, maybe? I'm not sure. It's this month.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be a very good event in Dortmund, I believe. It is hosted now, because it used to be held at sorts of at the Nürburgring, but yeah, not for a few years now. Still Lars Friedrich, Andreas Friedrich, apologies, on pole position, ahead of Lasse Sorensen. 1.1 seconds, 6 minutes 19, apologies, the fastest lap time so far. Motorsport Magpie confirming that the Sim Expo is next weekend. So yeah, have fun, anyone who is planning to attend that one. Looking at the sector times, we've got some purple sectors being posted by Andreas Friedrich on this lap. There are 14 sectors on this lap, but also this man Christoph Lipp with the fastest first sector of anyone, and also a pretty good fourth sector as well, so expect to see some improvements. Looks like there's a lot of yeah, personal bests being posted by the guys right now.
Well, I mean, Andreas Friedrich is absolutely, I was going to say lighting up our timing screens, but it's just a sea of purple. He's just going quicker and quicker than most of the field. He's got, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 purple sectors at the moment out of 10. So I'd say he's doing pretty well. He's currently 1.1 seconds ahead of Sorensen in second. But we should be coming towards the end of these second laps in about a minute or two's time. And then I think that will pretty much be the end of everyone's qualifying, as, well, no one's going to get around the Nordschleife in these cars in about 4 minutes. I don't even know what car is capable of getting around the Nordschleife in 4 minutes. Probably the Red Bull X 2010
yeah,
thing.
We've all done it. We've all tried it. Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know if you've seen Aaron, but seeing some of the world record times in the X 2010 or whatever it's called now, on this circuit is pretty cool. Like, it's proper reactions. Like, you almost, you're not reacting to what's in front of you. It's almost like a pre-time thing because everything comes at you so fast. Imagine driving this, but like 3 times speed, basically.
I'd honestly debate it's maybe worse than that. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's not really, how you normally drive a car where you kind of can think about a corner, prepare for it. You just have to go off muscle memory and kind of guess and hope that you'll make it around the corner in time. I mean, of course, the car has tons of grip, but it also has tons of grip, which is terrifying, and it's just super, super fast. I think it can go nearly 500 kilometers an hour, which is just absolutely insane. I don't even think any road car yet has hit that speed, although I think Bugatti might be getting close with its new Tourbillon car, whatever it's called. It's something French. But here is Andreas Friedrich coming around the final corner for what should be his fastest lap, and it is a 6:19.2, half a second ahead of Sorensen. And honestly surprised about the gaps. They are fairly close for just over a 6-minute lap time, and they're still within, half a second of each other. So that's good going. James Barry, who I've been saying has been struggling, has been putting in some laps over the past few days. He's slotted himself nicely into third. Reitinen just finished his lap. He's in fourth. I think Lip is still on his lap as well. And yeah, we're waiting for about 6 or 7 drivers to finish their lap times. And actually, we were just talking about McHutchinson. He's literally just popped in within the last 5 minutes. So he's here.
So yeah, trust John McHutchinson. I mean, like, he is an absolute veteran of this car. He's been driving this car. I think it's been his main car for like the last 4+ years. And so he knows this car check combo. As Lip gets so close to pole position, what an effort from Christoph Lip. 4 purple sectors for him, 4 purple sectors for Friedrich, but across the lap, by a slither, it was Andreas Friedrich. Larsen moves up into 6th position, demotes Berger down a place. And who else have we got? Kettle Larsen across the line. De Graaf will maybe make it, I guess. De Graaf, it almost looks like De Graaf's going to do 1 extra lap compared to everyone else. I'm not quite sure how he's managed to do that. Maybe he towed back to the pits or something. Here comes McHutchinson. He is crossing the line. He goes to 4th, his one and only attempt, but he's put himself right in the mix with that position. And that is a good effort under pressure for a man who needs points tonight if he is going to qualify for the World Finals.
Well, McHutchinson looked really, really good on Friday. It was like the first time we've seen him in the Radical Series this season, as that is De Graaf going back into the pits. And yeah, I think you're right. I think he did tow back at some point. But yeah, that's a good lap from McHutchinson, and he genuinely could potentially put himself in that top 10 if the other drivers, I think, what was it, Reitinen, Scaret, and Iani. As Iani is currently last, so that's 1 driver knocked off the board. He just has to keep it on the track now.
Yeah, that will be what he is aiming for. I'll quickly look at the points. So yeah, Gonzaga should be safe. Gonzaga should be safe with 108. But yes, Scaret with 88, Reitinen 83, Iani 82, McHutchinson, apologies, 82. So it's really close between a few of those drivers. And as well, Hawk as well is around. He's in 14th place. But yeah, good to see the drivers who are just on the fringes turning up tonight. They really do want to qualify for that World Final in 1 month's time, where, of course, we will unite both the European and the American Championships, the top 10 in the Pro-Am divisions from each. So do make sure to check out the Americas Championship in a few hours' time, where the same format will be repeated. But for race 1 then, it is Andreas Friedrich on pole position, ahead of Christoph Lip by the smallest of margins. Then it is Lasse Sorensen, John McHutchinson, James Barry, Sauli Reitinen, Ketzel Larsen. Gabriel Berger is top of the AMS. Remember, the AMS score points separately to the Pro, so that's very significant that he's on pole. Then it's Horg, Scaret, Gonzaga, Locke, Laliva, Robertson, De Graaf, Mellis, and Iani running up the 17.
I think this should be a good race. We've only got a couple of drivers left to grid up on the Nordschleife. We've got McHutchinson and Larsen, and now it is just Larsen, and this is one of the most awkward run down to turn ones, I think, in any track. It's really, really short. It's just... there's not really much point going for a move because it is just so deadly and suicidal. But I think we're just about ready to go now.
Yep, here we go then. It's Andreas Friedrich on pole position ahead of Christoph Lipp. Let's see how the drivers negotiate turn one. Away we launch. It's an even start for really everyone in the top four. Decent start by McHutchinson. He might have a go on the inside, but has to settle back in fourth place. The top 7 are all in the same order as they started. Hawk has got past Berger, Leliva past Locke, De Graaf past Robertson. But around this part of the circuit, they're going to have to go single file before they start the chase up the hill.
That's what I mean. It's just the Nordschleife is one of the more awkward lap ones in motorsport because unlike a lot of other lap ones, you know, just random circuits, Spa, you know, the Red Bull Ring, you just have to be aggressive, and that's the driver off. That's Robertson sliding himself along the Arnco, and I think he's got away with minimal damage to that Radical. I think he's all right to continue. It looked like it was just a mistake all by himself on this first lap. Of course, we've got cold tyres at the start of this race, and this car on cold tyres can be a death trap if you're not careful, as Christoph Lipp now trying to fight for this second place between himself and Sorensen. Sorensen's been really, really good these last few rounds, and Sorensen, like what he did on Friday, round the outside there on Christoph Lipp, and he absolutely loves that move. And watch out for Sorensen, by the way. He was very, very close to winning the race on Friday. I think he was just wrong place, wrong time on the final lap. So he could be a good contender. So can McHutchinson. I think Lipp could be up there as well by the end. Barry looks to be in decent shape compared to Friday. It's a good start from everyone so far. And down in the AMS as well, Berger has lost a place, but is still leading the AMS, as Leliva is down there in 12th and second in the AMS. And your championship leader in the AMS, Adam Locke, in 3rd and in 13th. And I think he'll probably go quite easy on this race.
Yep, absolutely. I think that consistency has really helped him throughout this season. And so, yeah, there's no reason to change that tactic tonight, at least. I mean, it will be fascinating when they do the World Finals, how much their driving changes. I mean, at that point, you just want to win the final event. I think there's going to be some cool prizes as well, offered by Radical SimRacing. And, yeah, really great championship that they have put on. Great championships. With the Americas Championship, of course, going on all the same rounds as the European rounds as well. Do make sure to check that out later on. Of course, round 12 from the Nordschleife to decide those remaining places as well. But the Friedrich just pulling away slightly, up to 1 second. But this is the part of the circuit where, again, the slipstream starts to take a big effect once again. And we'll go through Bergwerk and then Kesselchen, the long flat-out section, probably pretty much the longest flat-out section we have besides the Dottingham on this circuit.
It gives you a little bit of time in the middle part of this lap to either have a bit of a rest, just take in a breath before you enter probably the most difficult part of the entire lap, or, like what Christoph Lipp is thinking about doing, go for some overtaking. It can be done, but it does require the cooperation of both drivers. Otherwise, as we've seen time and time again, not only in the world of sim racing, but in real life as well, one wrong move and it can block the entire track, and then it's just absolute chaos from then on. As Lipp going ever so slightly deep into that corner. And Sorensen will definitely begin his chase on Andreas Friedrich. We head into the carousel for the first time. Let's hope everyone can keep it on the carousel. It's probably the most awkward banked corner in all of motorsport, because, you know, you think of corners at Zandvoort or, you know, any oval basically, and it's fairly simple. But that one, it actually is quite difficult to stay on the banking if you're not careful. One slight snatch of the brakes and, well, you're just going off and you're losing probably about a second or two.
Well, sometimes even more than that. I mean, earlier this year I did Nürburgring 24 hours, and after driving a very strong, I think that's putting it lightly, 4.5 hours of racing, pretty much got all my driving done for the race. my colleague and also Apex Racing TV employee. Lewis Ward got in the car and unfortunately made that exact mistake that you are mentioning, and he left the carousel too early, got a big bump and ended up in the wall, and all my efforts were for nothing. So, and I never let Lewis forget it, because he needs to learn really from that, as I have learned not to be teammates with him in an endurance race.
Well, the bond between you and Lewis is absolutely unmatched. I mean, what was it? Was it the Porsche Cup series or something like that at the start of this year? The pure Lewis abuse for round after round. It might have been the Sports Car Championship, actually. Whatever one Lewis was doing earlier this year.
Oh, Porsche Cup. Yeah. He let himself down on that one.
To be fair, he was a bit of a menace out on track at, I think it was
Yeah.
Road America. So yeah, that one was deserved, so fair enough. But here we go then, for the first time on this long back straight that just gives you endless possibilities to overtake one another. And I think the top four are probably going to switch places between each other as Friedrich momentarily tries to defend, but I think Sorensen might have gone for the move a bit too early, as he is just going to stay in second place. They have to watch out for the cars behind, because look how quickly McHutchinson and Christoph Lipp are gaining on these two, as Friedrich and Sorensen nearly go side by side through these final few corners. Definitely do not want to be doing that at the early stages of this race. And it looks like this race will probably only be about 3 laps long as we go on to lap 2. So technically we're on the penultimate lap. It's just some random thought that's popped into my head. We've all done it. We, do an endurance event round the Nordschleife, and our spotter comes on, says you've only got like 4 or 5 laps of fuel left. You start panicking. Oh God, I've got to pit soon. I'll wait. It's not for another 30 minutes.
Yes. What I will say as well, earlier on, the proposition of Gordon Hawk winning this race was put to us, and you laughed at the idea. Well, the guy isn't too far away right now. I have seen more crazy things than Gordon Hawk winning this race. With the top 5 as close as they are, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen at the end of the Dottinger, and if he can keep this P6, he'll be in the best position to take advantage of any accidents in front of him. So great performance from him so far. He's got Reitinen closing up behind there. He's going to have to go defensive. They're going now into Arenberg, and he might just lose this one, but that slightly shorter line and a little bit of tentativeness from his rival enables Hawk to hold on to P6.
We're going to have a look at what happened to Robertson, and I think it was just all by himself from what I remember. Of course, we're going to take a look, and remember cold tyres on this first lap, the curbs round it, yeah, just a slight little back end. I don't really know what that was, to be fair. It was no tap or anything. The rear tyres just weren't having any of it. And here's De Graaf as well, who I don't think we've seen what happened to him yet. Probably is going to be a bit of a late break, and yeah, that was a complete lock-up. Yeah, I think most of us have, to be fair. It's one of the more common mistakes to make at the Nordschleife. You just get that corner slightly wrong. You think, oh, I can take a lot of speed through here, and then it turns out you can't, and then that happens.
Yeah, it's one of them, and I really hate these corners where you sort of feel like you're under driving like every lap, and then there's just that one lap where you just miss the corner completely. It's really, there's the one at Sebring as well, which is the other one, not the 90-degree right-hander, the one shortly before Tower Bend. It's very much like that, where it's sort of like a flowing corner, and you always think, I could have pushed a bit harder to do that one. And then, yeah, you try it that little bit later, it doesn't feel like you're braking that much later, and you just lock up the tyre and you miss the corner completely. So, yeah, that's a really understandable one for that. And, of course, it's a corner that you want to nail, because the closer you are to the car ahead, the more of a tow you can get around this next part of the circuit that the drivers are now going on to, Kesselchen. So, yeah, it is a really important one, as we might have a move here for Sorensen. He gets his nose ahead. He couldn't get it done on the Dottinger. on the last lap, but it looks like he's going to get this one done this time. McHutchinson will gain rapidly on these two, but there's nowhere for him to go. He pretty much got the entire circuit locked out, and still the top 4 separated by just 3 tenths. Barry's struggling to keep tabs though. The gap now up to 1.6 to James Barry, so I'm sure he'll make up a bit of time shortly in the tight twisty bit where these guys will start to spread out, but Barry maybe not quite on the same pace as these top 4, judging by these first 1.5 laps.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about at the start of this broadcast. He doesn't look awful compared to how he was a couple of times this week, but he does just look ever so slightly off the pace. But then again, he might be okay just finishing in 5th for these few races, because Lip's only in 4th and Friedrich is in 2nd, so he just kind of has to hope that Friedrich doesn't win, and he should be fine in the championship. But, you know, like we've said, do they really massively care about who wins the championship? I think they care a lot more about who wins the world final, which I believe is going to be in about 5 weeks' time. I know it's on November 17th. I have no idea how many weeks directly.
Yeah, that sounds like 5 weeks. Yeah.
I think it is. My math isn't mathing right now. Yeah, I'm just guessing. But I think something happened to Gordon Howe, because he has just dropped off a little bit. He's still going, but maybe just had a bit of a snap somewhere, as I saw there was an off-track somewhere. I mean, I just saw his name pop up red. That was all. Okay. Thank SDK for that. Yeah. Oh dear.
Whoa. Turning into a street circuit. Lovely stuff. Way too much curb. And there's also been an issue for Mellis.
Oh dear.
And he may have been given a helping hand. Oh wow.
No,
that's
just
he's gone too
went
hot
too
there.
deep. Yeah.
2 drivers lucky to avoid the walls.
Well, Gordon might have given himself a new respray, just scraping along the barrier, but I think he, apart from a bruised ego, he'll be alright in 6th place, and one of the drivers who we've said can get into that top 10, but quite frankly, he needs a miracle at the moment. But because I mean, Raisinen's doing decently well, he's just behind him, and McHutchinson's also doing pretty well in 3rd, so it's going to be a bit of a task for Gordon Howe. But like you said, Sam, crazier things have happened in motorsport. But here we go then. This is the little charade we do every single lap until the last lap. Just musical chairs, basically, as we go 3 wide down this long back straight. Hutchinson is just sticking with it and just choosing to sit back for now. And honestly, being in 3rd or 4th, going on to that last lap is probably where you want to be, as it just gives you such a slingshot going into these final few corners. And there's Larson and Raisinen battling, as Howe has now lost.
Howe,
yeah, I think that was all the way down there through the slipstream, as we head on to the last lap of this quick 15-minute race. And oh god, I've just thought the fact, oh, that was Raisinen getting very tricksy through the first corner. But yeah, the fact we have another race with fuel saving, as Raisinen seems to be really struggling here. Not really sure what's going on there. He's just driving one-handed, maybe? I don't know. He just couldn't quite get a grip on the car in the early stages of this final lap, and it's just allowing Larson to just drive away a bit. I think he's got himself back underway, fully under control again. That should be a good battle for 6th, to be fair, going on to the last lap. We kind of got a few groups here, from 1st to 4th, then 6th all the way to 8th, and then about 10th all the way down to 13th-ish, as Laliva is fighting currently with Gonzaga and Berger for 10th place. It doesn't have to fight Gonzaga this hard, but I imagine he'll want to put a place between himself and Gabriel Berger. And as he does that, overtaking fairly easily. I don't think Gonzaga chose to fight that one too much.
No, it wasn't. Too hardly fought. So yeah, Laliva on for another race win then. Just in the arms this time, but very strong form for him at the moment. Good point that you made earlier on about the fuel saving later on. No one's going to want to lead, because these 4 are so evenly matched. What's the point in leading? But yeah, we'll see if there's ain't going to be any changes. Of course, if there are going to be any changes before the Dotzinger Ho, it's going to be on Kesselchen, that long flat-out section, about a minute away from us entering that part of the circuit. And then we've still got good battles with Larsen, Veitznen and Horg. And then, of course, that previous one we saw with Leliva, Gonzaga and Berger. And even Mellis and Robertson, both with their various issues, battling for 16th and 17th. Really great to see everyone still running in this race. It is a common car track combination, this one, so I think they're all fairly used to it. And that's really being shown right now, because the driving standards are high, considering what a tough challenge this is for them.
Yeah, we've not really had any big offs today, for the moment anyway, which is always a good sign. Compared that to the race we had on Friday, which I think we had about 6 or 7 people out on the first lap. So very, very big difference, only a few days can make. And I'm going to put my money here, probably on Friedrich to win this one, as we saw on that Friday race that the man in third probably has the best chance. He's just about close enough to go for the overtake and make it stick, whereas the guy in fourth just has to follow the guy in third through. He won't get enough speed to overtake him usually. And I think it was Sorensen who went into the last lap between the top 4 leading on Friday and ended up finishing 4th. So I'm surprised that coming through this straight in the middle of the lap that Lip hasn't just lifted off and let Sorensen through, as this is Leliva still fighting for the AM leads between himself and Berger. Didn't quite manage to stay ahead as Sorensen's gone for the move.
Oh,
Lip falling down the order.
He must have made a mistake, right? And now, don't do that, don't do that. No, good. I was concerned they were going to race the car, so what would be the point in that? They have spread out a little bit, but I don't think too much. But Hutchinson will be thinking, why are you guys battling? This is totally pointless right now. But yeah, Lip down to third. Thompson now leads this race with less than half a lap to go. Oh, and now he's gone wide. Now, is that was deliberate? That was definitely deliberate, but he's maybe given up a bit more than he wanted to, and maybe this is the tactics, and maybe you predicted it before. And now that's very wide, and that's going to be in the wall. That's going to be in the wall for Christoph Lip. What a mistake! And he was, in the end, he's cost himself. He was playing games. They're all playing games, and he's absolutely ruined it for himself on this last lap. What a mistake!
That is a big shock. Not something we see Lip doing very often. And yeah, like you correctly pointed out, they were all just being a bit silly, all trying
Oh, and now Hutchinson's round. Oh, he'll continue at least, but he's the one who needs the points here.
Yeah,
but he just dropped off a bit, I think, in P3, so I was really having to push to get back in range, and now we'll be limping home to the finish.
God, they've all absolutely lost their marbles on this last lap. And we're only in Heat 1. It's not even the feature race yet, and we're already getting people just making silly mistakes. Hutchinson's lost another place. And this is just the silly games you get. Oh, God, they're getting awfully close as we head through these last few corners. McHutchinson is falling down the order. Maybe got a slowdown from cussing the circuit somewhere. Or maybe has a bit of damage. I would not be surprised. I don't know if he actually hit the wall.
Oh, Sorenson's dropped off a bit now.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think we saw on Friday, I think the gap was about 8 or 9 tenths. And he still managed to gain by the end of the straight. So this could be close, but I think Sorensen should be able to get close enough, as the slipstream does just get more and more powerful as you go down the straight. I think Barry nearly has gotten a chance to win this one, but just isn't quite close enough. As you can see, Sorensen, he's gaining, but admittedly not as much as I would have thought. I do have to remember,
pulling shapes the other day?
I don't think they were, no. But I do have to remember that the Friday sessions are fixed, and these are open setups, as Sorensen lost an awful lot of time going through there. But it's going to be Andreas Friedrich somehow winning this one on the opening heat race. I said he'd win from third, and although not in the way I thought he would, he still managed to get that victory either way. And in the end, that's the lever going round. That's a biggie.
Who can limp to the line? The lever will make it. Locke wins the AMs. Did Locke get past? So Locke got past Berg as well. It was pretty much a photo finish.
0.003 of a second.
It's coming up as 3,000ths on our timing screen. I think Locke may have been third in line there. I think he took pole position, didn't he? But had fallen back and takes it at the last. What a crazy final lap through that race. And yeah, it made a big difference to the results. Mellison Robertson, the final judge to cross the line. Lip did not make it to the line, and he will not score points because it's only top 10 who get points.
Yeah, that's a real heartbreaker for Christoph Lipp. It basically means that he is now down and out of that championship fight. And wow, as Leliva is definitely not happy. He's just typed useless in chat. So clearly the Frenchman not taking responsibility for that last lap crash. We'll get a look at that after the results probably. But Andreas Friedrich, what a way to win, just keeping it on the road and not playing silly games, and hey, you get a victory. As Sorensen ended up in second place, he will definitely take that one and all the way to the bank. As James Barry, we were talking, doesn't really have the pace to match up, but still got a podium and just about keeps his championship lead. And Gordon Haug in fourth, good result for him. Larson in fifth place, Sauli Reitinen in sixth place, but Hutchison ended up in seventh. That could make him getting into the top 10 a little bit more tricky than he would have liked. Scaretz down in 8th place, Gonzaga 9th. Adam Locke somehow managed to win in the amateurs in the end, as Gabriel Berger, Leliva made contact at that final corner, 11th and 12th for them. Myron Iani in 13th, De Graaf in 14th, Stefan Mellis in 15th, Robertson in 16th. And then the big one, Christoph Lipp in 17th and last. And, well, of course, that means he's going to have to start last for the feature race, which, two blows with one crash.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to have a chance, honestly, at winning this second race, because he's going to be probably 10 seconds behind by the end of the first lap. So, or maybe not 10 seconds, but, 5 or 6 seconds. I guess with the fuel saving, maybe the front guys will hold each other up enough, but yeah, it will be really tricky for him. I have decided to start a spreadsheet. I've done some maths and to calculate these points, because it's so close in the points. That is the things that we have to do at this point. And so going into this round, one of Scaretz, Veitsinen, Iani and McHutchinson were going to qualify for the top 10. Scaret had that position before, and he's still got that position. He's now 3 points ahead of Veitsinen. McHutchinson jumps ahead of Iani now in the championship, but he is 5 points away from qualifying. Iani is 8 points away from qualifying. So currently Scaret would be the final qualifier for the world final in the Pro Championship, but could all still change in this second race. Certainly we know McHutchinson's got the capabilities of it, and had he not made that mistake on the last lap, I think he would currently be in that coveted 10th spot in the championship.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if potentially we could maybe, if it's possible, to have a look at some of the replays just within this warm-up. Apparently we're not allowed to view them replays, and well, we'll just have to save them for our memories, unfortunately. But it was mental. I really don't know what they were doing, to be honest. You get why they were doing it, right? No one wanted to lead going on to that final lap. But
I think that's what happens when you've done this car check combination so many times. Like, it's every season that they do this car check combination. Eventually, I think you get to the point where you you start getting into tactics like that, And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love those tactics. Like, I think it's so much fun when you're driving, but then you've also got that strategy element to it with the racecraft. But it upsets your rhythm, when you go slow through one corner, you're not going into the next corner with the same amount of speed, so your braking points are slightly different. And maybe if you over slow, which I think a couple of the drivers did when they were laying each other past, and you feel like you have to rush, and then you've got to drive right on your rear bumper. And yeah, they really misjudged it on that occasion. So I wonder if they'll be a bit safer maybe for this next one. Were they playing any of those games on Friday?
Nobody was, from what I can remember, no. Which actually is fairly surprising. They just fought all the way until the end.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, we'll see if that happens again. We've got 30 more seconds until the final race of the normal season. And of course, it will be an extended race, 45 minutes of driving, and a pit stop included as well for the guys. I think they can almost get to the end. I think we had the same discussion back at Phillip Island last time out in terms of can you get to the end of the race on a tank of fuel. And I think you basically need to get maybe a lap round here. It will be about a lap in before you can get to the end. So maybe we'll see some strange and unusual strategy decisions by guys who are out of position, but expect most of them to run the cars until about 35 minutes into the race before pitting with about 10 to go for some fuel, as warm-up has come to an end, and we will have a second crack at the race start, which was very clean earlier on. Everyone knows the drill around this place. You accept your grid position, you get into single file through the first few corners, and then you can start attacking later on the lap. It's Friedrich with the pole, ahead of Sorensen, Barry, Hawk, up there in 4th place. Of course, yes, scoring really good points. Unfortunately, he's not going to get into the top 10. He's too far back going into this round, but still, he seems to be having one of his best rounds of the season right now. Kettle Larson in 5th place, then it's Sally Reitinen, John McHutchinson with work to do, Alexander Skirt in 8th, then it's Gonzaga. Locke is top of the AMS, ahead of Berger, Laliva, Iani, De Graaf, Mellis, Robertson, and Christoph Lipp, who I'm very pleased has taken to the grid. I would not have been surprised if he'd just call it a day after that disappointing final lap, but he is on the grid. And here comes the lights then for the final race of the normal season, and we will see, can Andreas Friedrich get the launch away and keep the race lead? He can, and he just immediately pulls a few car lengths away. John McHutchinson trying to make up some places in that orange liveried Radical right off the launch, but he was not able to make any progress, has to settle in. It's the same order for the top 9 drivers at the moment. Just Berger getting ahead of Laliva, apologies, Berger getting ahead of Locke, and Laliva has now got ahead of Locke as well. Another poor start for him. De Graaf has got past Iani, meanwhile. Bit of a surprise there for 13.
I think Locke isn't too fussed, to be fair, after getting a very, very shock win in that opening heat race, though. I think this could possibly be a bit of a downtime race for him and just have a bit of a chill, have a bit of fun, some tomfoolery, some might say. They're in 3rd in the AMS, and just give it a right old go. He's already got a decent gap between the entire field, from Lipp all the way up to Friedrich. I mean, that's just weird to say in of itself. There's about 7 seconds now, so Lipp really does have some work to do as we're coming towards the end of this first proper sector of the lap, and some decent overtaking opportunities here, but Lipp not managing to get any done there, and he probably will have to just make up his own overtaking opportunities within the next few corners, as well. He's done one there. Lipp now up into 16th place, but now 8 seconds. And you were definitely right there, Sam. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near the top 5, let alone a win.
Yeah, I didn't really expect it. I thought he might make a bit more progress in this in the first few corners, but there is really nothing you can do. Is there a bit of smoke ahead? No, maybe that's just the trackside scenery. Everyone's fine. Mellis, though, behind us, I think if we were looking at the mirrors, then we'd see some smoke, because the Belgian, unfortunately, has had another incident. I think that's where he spun earlier on as well, and yeah, it's now a long way from the back of the field. Has got back running again though. So yeah, we ride on board with Berger, currently leader out of the amateur drives. A fantastic start for him to gain a place. He's very much keeping tabs with the cars ahead.
Yeah, Berger doing decently on this opening lap, already up 1 place, trying to look for another. Puff of smoke from some cars up ahead, clearly struggling with locking up the brakes. That's one of the most common corners to lock up your brakes, to be fair. It's kind of just a natural thing, as Friedrich is under a bit of pressure here from Sorensen this early into the lap, and maybe Friedrich seems to be giving up the lead already. That definitely looks on purpose to me. I don't know about you, Sam, but he does not want to be leading this race right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think you'd want to lead.
No.
Because you maybe want to save some fuel. At the same time, though, you want to make it as small a race as possible. Like, if you can pull away there and just make it like a battle of two, which I think Sorensen and Friedrich have the potential to do. I mean, with McCutcheon down in 7th, with Lip all the way down the field, so we might have some more moves here. Here comes Barry, who probably needs to get in amongst these guys. That's probably his best bet because he doesn't quite have the same pace. And Gordon Hogg, right with these drivers, just driving for nothing. Looks like he's going to finish 14th in the championship either way for Gordon. But he will try to get as many positions up in this final race of the season as possible. But it's Sorensen now who leads ahead of Barry. Friedrich, the pole sitter, down to 3rd.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of the fact that no one wants to lead, and I do not blame them.
Oh, that's how...
Barry going very, very wide, and that's going to lose everyone a bunch of time.
I mean, 1.5 seconds for Sorensen. I mean,
that's outside the slipstream. This is going to get super close through here. Barry has to lift, and he's going to lose a huge bunch more places. Everyone's going to have to check up and be super careful through here as McHutchinson got kind of left out to dry as he nearly overtook Barry, but just couldn't do it. And everyone now from that 6th place spot upwards gained a place from James Barry making that mistake. And, well, we were talking about it earlier, you do genuinely lose about 1 or 2 seconds from doing that. It just puts you on such an awful line, and there's just nothing you can do once you've made that mistake. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, played it fairly cautiously, did Barry. It was almost as though it was like a lane of traffic to his left, and he never had the opportunity to manage to slot his way into it. Yeah, the drives just kept on going past. So racing up into 5th now. I was doing the calculations a moment ago, and it was still Scoret qualifying in that 10th place. But at the moment, or at least half a lap ago, it was Scoret on 99, Rayton 98, and Hutchinson 95. So very close, but I think that may have changed now with those couple of positions. Rayton gaining an extra point for his tally. So it would currently be a tie at 99 points for 10th spot in the championship. And of course, 10th spot in the championship matters because that is the final spot to qualify for the World Finals next month. So the Pro Championship is looking as close as it could be right now. Larson dropping back a little bit from Hogg ahead of him, but he has got a bit of a gap in front of Rayton, so he should be probably safe in that 4th place this time round. And Sorensen 1.5 seconds ahead of Friedrich. We'll see if that gap comes down at all, but it looks like you're right, Aaron. It looks like 1.5 seconds is out of the draft.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and we saw on Friday just how quick Sorensen can be if left to his own devices. So this could potentially be a bit tricky between Friedrich and Sorensen. Friedrich does look really, really quick, though. I think it's going to be brilliant to watch those two kind of ding-dong, just those few tenths to try and get back in each other's slipstream. But here we go, going into the last few corners as Barry moves up to 6th place ahead of Rayton, and of course that's important for the Finn. He's lost that place, and it's just occurred to me that pretty much everyone's going to have to come in on the same lap, right? When they do,
probably, yeah.
That pit entry is going to be an absolute mess.
I mean, imagine if one driver crashes.
Oh dear.
It'll be calamity.
Yeah, that's. Let's hope that doesn't happen, and if it does, let's hope the driver escapes as quickly as possible. Here is what happened to Mellis. Doesn't look like a good line through there, and oh, I thought that was going to be a lot heavier of a hit.
Was that Lip? I think he was going to hit.
Yeah, that was very, very close to Lip. So scraping all of his clutches there, Mellis, and just about used all of his luck to keep himself in this one. But is 15 seconds back from Robertson.
Oh, and that's going to be in the wall, surely.
Oh, he does hit the wall. Manages to keep it just out of everyone's way. And he can continue on, but he's lost a huge bit of momentum there. And that could have been an airplane crash if we were not careful. But good car control and good avoidance from everyone to do so. As Larson, Haug and Co behind, all fighting now for the last few positions and for the podium as well. Not going to be enough room to squeeze through here. It's barely barely wide enough for one car, let alone two, as Friedrich has now gained a lot of time on Sorensen on this lap anyway. So perhaps I was wrong. Maybe Friedrich really does have the pace over Sorensen. So the race win is definitely still on for either of those two. And of course, we've still got a long, long way to go in this race. Still got the pit stops to come as well. And I can imagine that most drivers will probably just run the fuel tank dry. As some drivers, sometimes this season we've seen a couple guys go in early, but I've not seen it work once. So I don't know why drivers still try and go into the pit early, because it just doesn't work in single class racing. Multi-class? Maybe. Single class? Not so much.
Yeah, I think that is more often than not the case. Larson got past Hawk, I think, earlier on in this lap, and still has that long queue of drivers behind. Watching out for Christoph Lipp. He's 11.6 seconds behind, so the gap hasn't increased too much for Lipp, but he is still down in 14th place. He has not made many overtakes. It's really good. I know that we've got a smaller field, but it's a very competitive field at this final round of the championship, which is it's very good. So yeah, very glad that the drivers who are sticking with the championship all the way through, who absolutely adore this this radical car. As there is the gap, you can see Sorensen is edging out, but not by a huge margin on most sectors. Sector 1 though on this lap, maybe Lipp, I think maybe made a mistake. I don't think that was actually traffic for him. I think he was by himself. Maybe just overshooting on the corners. It's got to think about this move though. Very generous from Berger, who's already had an off for himself in on this lap. He opens the line and he will let him pass, but now there's a car in the middle of the circuit barely moving. That was Gonzaga. What has happened to Gonzaga? There's going to be another car coming up behind, I think, soon as well. I don't see any damage on that car.
I thought I did at first. It looks like he's hit the wall, I think, on the left-hand side. Not 100% sure, though. We'll definitely have to have
two drivers missed the...
Someone's...
Bateson and McHutchinson. No, I think it was McHutchinson who missed it. Or maybe it was Barry. Maybe it was McHutchinson and Barry who missed the carousel. And Bateson is back up to 5th place, and Scarrett gets past as well.
Barry really does not like the carousel at all. That's the second time he's done that mistake. Is McHutchinson going a tad wide. Seeing a lot more mistakes in this race, this early parts of the race, than we did in the first bit, as Gonzaga has gone back to the pits. So I think he definitely must have had damage then. As I mean, that was on a straight though. I
didn't hear any. We got the Armco noise effect on iRacing, and I didn't hear that noise, and I'm attuned to picking up that. And there's no event marked by our live timing, so he didn't come to a stop or go off circuits, I think, either. That records that as well. So strange one. Maybe a hardware issue for him. Maybe he had no thoughts on.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, we've seen it happen a few times this season too. Drivers, unlucky or not, I mean, hardware failure is basically what we have for reliability issues in real life. You kind of swap it for that, and well, I don't know what you'd have more of, to be fair. You probably would have more reliability issues in real life than you would hardware issues. But then again, I guess it kind of depends on the hardware you've got. So then again, it depends on the car you've got. Is DeGraff taking the alternate line through your least favourite corner
I
on
like
the track?
that line. I think if I had my way, there would be cones, so that you have to take that line. I hate that mini carousel. It's an awful corner.
I'm somewhat inclined to agree. It's just a bit awkward.
I really like the other carousel as well, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just that mini carousel is so, it's too fast, I think, as that's the run. And Hawk is back up to P3 again. Larson sitting. Doug Bateson will probably go past as well. We're going to see him on our right. But Hawk, Larson staying in there. Got a little bit squeezed by the number 7. But Bateson up to 4th place now. He's making good progress. Friedrich has made a mistake. Where is Friedrich ahead? We see the smoke.
Lord.
And there's the car. and he has
That's
lost
damage,
another
I think.
2.5 seconds
No, not
because of
really.
that mistake.
No, never mind. I thought I saw damage on that car, but then again, I thought I saw damage on Gonzaga's car. Maybe it's their livery that's throwing me off. I don't know. Something about the car that just looks like the back of the car was ever so slightly bent. But yeah, I think he's gotten away without any damage, because we can take a look now. It looks rather bumpy through there, but it's done all right. And into the last corner. Oh, that was
Clipped a bit of the
tad
curb.
bit too deep. Yeah, I think it was a bit of the curb and just a slight snatch of the brakes, a bit too deep into that corner. And well, we were talking about the gap for Friedrich and Sorensen. Well, I don't think he'll be getting any of the benefits of Slipstream now, and maybe Friedrich will have to start looking in his rearview mirror, because I think Haug might just be in the Slipstream. It's just a matter of keeping it there now, but he is currently under attack from all of Finland, as here comes Reitinen around the outside. That move has worked for a few people, but it's worked on everyone but Hawk at the moment. He's managed to fend off that move around the outside there a few times during today's racing already. And he's holding on to this third really, really nicely. Like we've said, he can't get into the top 10 on points at the moment in this race, no matter what happens. So he's kind of just doing this to prove a point that, you know, he does potentially deserve to be in the World Finals come 5 weeks' time. And you did say that people can get in on merit.
Yeah.
Right. So, and there's a few drivers here who I would argue, even if they don't get in, I would say probably should get in. I mean, drivers like McCutcheon and Gordon have both been brilliant today. So even if they don't get in, I think probably should give them a chance anyway.
At the moment, out of, and there's a reiteration that in the championship, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th are all still up for grabs. At the moment, for the first time tonight, Reitinen would qualify in that 10th place, because Goretz had a couple of rough laps, so Reitinen is currently on 102 points, Goretz 99, McHutchinson 96, and Yanni now stands a long way back in with 83 points, scored just 1 point in race 1, and is set to score only a few points in this race 2 as it stands.
Get to see by the end of this race who does get that coveted top 10 spot in the end. And I don't know who I'd put my money on right now. It is just super, super close as McHutchinson goes past Larson there for 5th place.
Well, that's
that's
a few more points.
Yeah, it's a couple more points for McHutchinson, making some good progress as Scoret. I think today just hasn't had amazing pace. I think Scoret's objective definitely today has just been finish and hope it sticks, and maybe it could work, but he's also got this man, Christoph Lipp, charging like a raging bull through the pack, and he's up to 9th. Still 13 seconds off the lead though, but I mean, I said he might not get a top 5. I'm starting to doubt that now. I don't know, if something happens up ahead, which I mean it definitely can, he could be on for a top 5 place. I mean, I still don't think the win is, yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Well, I wouldn't rule him out of a podium, I would say. Like, he, as long as he's got past Berger, by the way, shout out to Leliva, driving very well in the lead of the AMS once again. But yeah, Lips had a good lap. And when I say good lap, of course, that's like a chunk of the race because the laps are so long around this circuit. I think he's actually been faster than the race leader this past lap or so. And of course, with the issues for Friedrich and co, he's there. And McHutchinson hasn't made the pace that he wanted to. After he got dislodged from the carousel on the last lap, that dropped him back a couple of places and pretty much undid his progress up to that point in the race. And I imagine he'll probably be up to P3 by the end of this lap, McHutchinson. He should get a good launch on the Dotzinger, but he hasn't scythed his way through as quickly as I think everyone expected he would do. And Barry as well, because with his various mistakes today, also not making much progress. So I think they are the two that Lip was really going to struggle to beat, and seeing that they're really getting held up, yeah, maybe Lip could beat them. And then I feel like Horg and Reitinen, Larson and Lip's go at, Lip can beat all those guys because he's so much faster. So, yeah, I think a podium's genuinely possible for him if McCutcheon keeps on getting held up.
Yeah, I think if it stays like this and Lip keeps on putting down those laps, it's definitely on for the Lip train. McCutcheon choosing to do the Audi move, as I experienced it a lot today, people following you up the rear on the motorway. It's just what you want to see, as he got super close to the back of Reitinen. Just about managed to slam on the brakes and avoid him, as now we go on to the longest straight known to man. And, well, who's going to end up in that coveted third place spot? By the time we get to the end, it's from Hogg all the way down to Barry, technically.
I think
he's
McCutcheon
just about within.
Nailed this.
Yes, I mean, look at the speed. I mean, Neum sound effects, if I've ever seen it in my entire life. He is just blasting past Gordon Haug and Reitinen as well. But look at Larson.
Oh,
He could be coming as well, potentially going side by side with McCutcheon as we head into these last few corners on this lap. And they're both going too wide a piece, as McCutcheon could lose out to Reitinen if he's not careful, but just manages to hold on to that fourth place. But it's now Larson in third, as Gordon Howe went from third all the way down to sixth, and that's just how much the slipstream is so powerful in these cars. And I think potentially people running proper setups, if this is a open setup series, I really hope I'm not wrong about that. But just judging off some of these slipstreaming I have seen from different drivers, it doesn't seem to be even, so I'm going to go on a whim and say that it's open. I'm probably massively wrong though, and it is fixed, and I'm just going to look like an idiot.
it is fixed. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well then.
I think...
Waffle.
Well, yeah, I think seeing that, yeah, the drivers are so used to the fixed sets from the official series. This is very much a fixed car. I mean, this is maybe very boring, but I mean, that was one of the things that really revived the Radical SR8 years ago, was when it went to fixed setup. As McCutcheon is going to move back past Larson, and he's got that one done. So that was, I think this is the first time he's been on the podium. He's sort of been in that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. But now he's up to the front of this train, and if anyone's going to be able to pull away from this train, it's going to be McCutcheon. Not sure if he necessarily will. We know that Larson's a very strong driver, but McCutcheon's just got to push as hard as he possibly can for the next half lap, see if he can break that draft, and for him, he'll be hoping that he can get a boring P3. Oh, he's spun round. He has spun round. He's not going to get a boring P3. That's the second spin he's had tonight. Fortunately, he can rejoin fairly quickly, but he's made life so hard for himself tonight, John McCutcheon. That's big points lost for him in the championship as well. He was edging into that top 10. He was in the top 10 in the championship, but now his chances of getting into the top 10 look very, very slim.
Well, this is what happens as a commentator when you start talking good about a driver. They just decide to bin it. All of a sudden, that potentially will end up on social media at some point.
I've made it next.
Very much patting McCutcheon on the back, and then you slapped him into the wall. And unfortunately, he's now down to 9th and made his day even more tricky than it already was. It was looking really good for, what was it, 3 corners? He got himself finally up into 3rd, and then decided I've had enough. And now he's in 9th, so it's not over, but he's just made it a lot more difficult for himself. I imagine he's probably going to be one of the drivers that might be able to get in on merit, but I don't know. It's difficult to say, since he's just not been here at all this season. But when he has, he's done pretty well, and he's done very well today.
He is a legend of the Radical community. I mean, back when I first commentating on the series back in I guess like 2021, you know, he's always been up there winning races. Very strong driver is McCutcheon, so yeah, he absolutely, if anyone's going to get a wild card, it's going to be him. But I'm not entirely sure what the process for picking them is for the series. Larson barely ahead of Reitinen, who's got a new lease of life. He's now in the that coveted 10th spot. But of course, Scoret isn't too far behind these guys. He could still get in there. He was the man who was in there before this round started. And getting closer and closer to these guys is Christoph Lip now, just 1.6 seconds behind Scoret. Lip might even get the draft. I think he will get the draft on the Dottinger this time round. So watch out for him. He'll get one hell of a run on the cars ahead.
Yep, they nearly go side by side into the carousel and then smartly thought, yeah, let's not do this. Let's go single file. But yeah, that spin from McCutcheon, I mean, not obviously it cost him a huge amount of time, but everyone else as well behind, of course, had to check up as it's a narrow part of the circuit. I mean, what part of the circuit isn't, to be fair? But it just managed to ask Scret. Oh, no, okay. I thought something had happened to Scret there for a second. It was popping up red, but I think he maybe just went a tiny bit wide somewhere. But Christoph Lip, that's massively helped him. He is literally right on the back of Alexander Scret now. And not only is that going to put Scret probably another place down, and not helping his top 10 chances at all, it's going to allow Lip to potentially fight for this podium that you predicted, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, he's very close to it now, isn't he? He's, what, 2.7 seconds away, so... yeah, this run he's going to get on the Dottinger. Well, I don't know. He might not actually get any places on the Dottinger. I feel like he might get one place or he might get 5. I'm really not sure. Because it might just be that everyone's got the same draft on one another and they just stay in the same order as they start, apart from maybe the front two who swap around. But yeah, they're certainly going to bunch up. This is going to be a fun Dottinger with the way that they are all spread out, and it's going to be getting some very high speeds. By the end of the straight. I think the man who's won the most races this season, Christoph Lip, I think he's got 6 wins to his name this season. Might even be more than that, actually. But doesn't look like he's going to get a race win tonight. But here comes the chase. Larson leading it, but Reitinen is only half a second behind, so Reitinen will probably pass. Everyone else might just stay in the same order. Potentially,
and remember, we are somewhat getting close to the pit stops now. I don't think it will be on this lap, and then watch them all come into the pits anyway. But I don't think it will be on this lap. I think it might be at the end of the next one. We'll wait and see. As like we suspect, look at the speed that he's got. This is just the power of the slipstream. It's genuinely like you've just activated DRS or something. It's super, super powerful. And there's Barry coming into the pits. He's the first one to dive in. No one else choosing to come in on this lap so far.
Maybe he's paid Sorensen to block the pits. And he'll win. Have you seen the not top 10 highlights in iRacing of the guy who, like, it's one of them. You know when you have like challenges on like YouTube and someone like does a 1 in a million shot. And like the best ones are often when they got like two like posts. As Barry's already out there. That's a quick pit stop. Hawk's had an issue. Where's?
No, he's in the wall.
You know what? Yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say he's gonna have to be careful getting on the track again. And I imagine he's probably just bumped into the curb or something on the inside. Oh, that was a hefty curb on the inside there. And, well, we were discussing this with JR on Friday, as Stefan Mellis is another driver who has come in as well. The fact that in real life, most of those inside curbs are unusable now. They're kind of like the rest of the curbs in the track. So they should thank their lucky stars that iRacing have not and probably won't update the Nürburgring for a while. I'd probably give it a few years, 2 or 3, before they decide to rescan the Nordschleife and the Nürburgring.
The way that, in terms of resurfacing the Nordschleife, what I believe they do is that every year they resurface like 1/10 of it, and they just go around the circuit and it's like, yeah, replay, because it's such a big circuit that they couldn't do it all in one go. But no, this is very much the final iteration of the Nordschleife, isn't it? Until it closes eventually. This is what we've got. So yeah, no need for iRacing to update it. Besides maybe the trees, you know, if there's some better trees which come about, which I think iRacing have been working on. I think Okayama was quite a big one when it came to their trees, 3D trees and stuff like that. I think the trees look all right around here, to be fair. They're not much of an eyesore. It's not like Bathurst, I think, where they look a bit more dated.
Well, I mean, maybe it is just my graphic settings. I do have them turned down ever so slightly, but I mean, yeah, on the left. Anyway, it does kind of look early 2000s-esque or mid 2000s. The fauna on the outside of the track itself and everything close to it looks, pretty good. But yeah, the PNG images of trees on the side of the track, it definitely gives me like R Factor or F1 1992 vibes of the going to Austria and just having those trees on the outside of the track and just them looking hilarious. Or if you were skilled enough for that game, you could actually just explore around the track, because that was a thing you could do in old F1 games. You were just able to get out of the track, out of bounds, and just go for a drive. I remember doing that on nearly every single track, and it was so much fun. The older games just have something to them. You can't do it on iRacing because it would just bin you off.
It's stuff like that which would be really satisfying to do. As got Hog passing Lock, so Hog, sorry, making his way back up through the order. Going a little bit wide there. Of course, remember that, I mean, I've been calculating the points. However, I am not taking into account the bonus points. And the way that the bonus points work, if you get 0 incidents in race 1, you get 1 bonus point. If you get 0 incidents in race 2, you get 2 bonus points. If you get 1 or 2 incidents in race 2, you get 1 bonus point. So you can get up to 3 bonus points across the evening. However, as anyone is familiar with iRacing, you cannot see the instance for other drivers unless you are an admin in the session, of which we are not. So we do not know what the state of the bonus points is. We will know after the race, albeit we won't be told what the race ones were. So basically, whatever points we say at the end of the race, there is a margin of error of 3 points when it comes to that. So take our standings with a grain of salt.
Well, honestly, this is probably one of the easiest tracks to avoid incidents.
Absolutely. I mean, I would be willing to put significant money on Sorensen not picking up a 1x. Like, Sorensen definitely is getting points.
Oh yeah, 100% for Sorensen. I'd honestly say about half the grid have probably got at least 1 bonus point today. As it's literally just don't crash and you'll get a bonus point. So yeah, the top driver's definitely doing that so far in this race. Well, Friedrich won't get it, as we saw earlier on, of course. Sorensen has been pretty flawless so far in these opening 30 minutes. Got about 14 left to go, and they should be coming in for their pit stops in this lap. And like we've been talking about throughout this entire broadcast, let's hope that nobody bins it coming into the pits, because...
I mean, I don't mean ill on anyone, but it'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be absolutely... I mean, like, I'm just thinking of the social media potential. Like, we could get 100k views on a reel of someone blocking the pits and everyone not getting in. There goes Larson up into 3rd. Lip will go up, and now Lip might just take this podium spot now. The track isn't quite available for the number 7 of Raitzman to move through. Well, he's almost getting up into 3rd place, so he might get 1 place back here, but he's going to be a bit more cautious on the brake. So Lip, what a comeback this is. And Christoph Lip was down in 14th just 20 minutes ago.
Oh, no.
But it is only Sorensen who has decided to come into the pits. Now, this won't be a long pit stop for Sorensen, so he's probably going to come out in traffic. So it will be a bit of a treacherous outlap for him.
Yeah,
it might be alright. I think enough drivers are coming to the pits that it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think he's just gotten away with it there, as, like you say, enough drivers have come into the pits where he's not lost any time. McHutchison, Berger and Lever, the other drivers as well, who chose to come in this lap. And I'm actually shocked.
It must be the shortest pit lane of the season, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. And the pit stop times will be nothing compared to some other stuff that we've seen this season. We are differing a lot, though, in pit box times, though. I mean, you've got some drivers who are in the 11 seconds. McHutchinson was only 8. That's suspiciously short.
He's
have
had
to
a
be
lot of
honest.
draft though, hasn't he? So maybe he saved a lot of
Yes.
fuel.
Oh dear.
Oh, wow.
Oh. That is one
That was
way
racing
to
it.
get close to your opponent. Yeah, it was racing and getting, well, going back to his finished routes, trying to go around the outside on the grass, but then remembered that this car is not four-wheel drive. So that was not going to work for him at all there, and just has to settle back in 4th. As Lip, 6.5 seconds back from Friedrich. I don't think, I mean, 6.5 seconds is quite a lot, but then again, it's the Nordschleife. So maybe it's not too much, but I mean, let's not forget how close they were in qualifying. It was, what, 15 thousandths of a second? So I think Lip has probably gotten as far up as he can into 3rd, but can he hold on to it now with the slipstreaming potential for the guys behind? And of course, he still hasn't made his pit stop. Things can go wrong or right for him in the pits. And James Barry, who we've said time and time again this season, has had amazing pit stops. Today, though, he was one of the earlier pit boxers, 13.6 seconds. Not very quick from Barry. And
No.
very much has been struggling in this race, at least.
Yeah, there are the times on the screen. Yeah, really strange as you mentioned before, the differences. Maybe, I wonder if they're close on making the extra lap, and so some of them have thought, this is only going to be 8 laps, and some of them have thought, no, this is going to be a 9-lap race. I hope that McHutchinson's got enough fuel in the car, because after spinning in race 1, spinning in race 2, and also leaving the car so earlier on, he's had enough issues tonight. He doesn't need to run out of fuel on the last lap as well. Here is Locke on the tail of De Graaf. This is for the lead out of the amateur drivers. What a good performance this has been from Menno De Graaf. Now, Leliva has already pitted, so chances are Leliva will get back into the lead. But so yeah, for now, this is for the lead in the end.
I think
And
it
Hawk
could
is being held up a bit.
potentially be close. And yeah, Hawk definitely trying to gain a couple places here, as he seems to be getting the benefits of the slipstream, but now it's Adam Locke who's following De Graaf, and he now gets the benefits of slipstream, so I don't know if Haug will be able to get past as quickly as he'd want. But does get quite a nice run. That was way too close for comfort.
That was reverse netcode, like they merged into one another, right?
Yep, I completely agree. That's what I saw on my screen. That was netcode being on their side. And I think that's just the way the netcode works. It's a lot worse if there's a car turning in, whereas that time it was on the outside. So I think they were okay. From my understanding of netcode, it's very confusing. And obviously, I don't even think iRacing have a full grip on how it works, since, well, we all know the issues with netcode on this game. But yeah, very much being kind on that occasion, and it allows Gordon Haug to carry on, at least for the moment, but that was super close.
Yeah, too close for comfort, no doubt about it. Yeah, this will surely be the lap that we see the remaining drivers come into the pits. So we will have 2 more laps after this one. So when will we cross the line? About 7 minutes to go. And so, yeah, it's not really that close, is it? It will be an 8-lap race, this. Or will it only be 7 laps? How much longer have we got on the lap? We've got less than 2 minutes. I don't know, maybe it is going to be close on laps, so maybe that is why we've had the difference in lap times, because in pit stop times, because yeah, I'm not sure if it's a 7-lap race this or an 8-lap race, but we'll find out pretty soon once the drivers cross the line to start the next lap. We'll have a good idea on it. Still Hawk being stuck behind De Graaf. He's not going to get past here. He's just got to be cautious and sensible about it, but he will be frustrated, and it does mean that the likes of McHutchinson and Barry will be able to catch up. There is McHutchinson in that orange livery, closing up massively to Hawk, who had a decent gap before.
Well, now we should be coming into the pits on this lap, because if we don't, we're getting eerily close to some drivers not pitting. So let's hope that the likes of Friedrich and other drivers do actually come into the pits eventually, unless they've discovered some kind of cheat to go all the way to the end on endless amounts of fuel. And I'm expecting him to pull in, and luckily he does, nice and neat there. I mean, that barrier on the inside does make it a bit more awkward than you'd like.
Ooh.
Yep,
I'm hearing
was
some arm code.
clenching.
I'm not
It
sure if
is-
anyone did hit the arm code. It may have just been net code,
Sorry.
but
Oh, wait, yeah,
Donaldson
you're in
continues
pit.
round. And so how close is Friedrich? He was what, like 5 seconds
About
behind
5
beforehand,
seconds. Yeah.
and I think it is going to still be about the same margin. So
Yeah.
not really any change there. It was a clean out lap for Sorensen. He was a bit fortunate not to get caught up in any traffic. Lipston in 3rd place. Larson, interesting that they're abiding by the white line a bit more, but I think you are allowed to cut that, judging by how the other drivers have been driving it. McHutchison back up to 5th. McHutchison's really done well in all of that. Veitonen has lost out. Veitonen had a very long pit stop, 22 second stationary for Sally Veitonen. And so Veitonen and
God.
McHutchison pretty much swapped positions now. So that is really costly for him. Pretty long pit stop for Scoret as well. Barry up to 6th place. So there was a lot of changes in all that. The big beneficiary, McHutchison, the big loser out is Veitonen. And I'm going to have to type some numbers into a spreadsheet. See who is in that 10th position now in the championship.
I think it could be very, very close. I mean, obviously we can all know that McHutchinson is not getting any bonus points tonight, judging by his little escapades that have happened in Heat 1 and this feature race. And we can have a look what happened with Rysonen, because I mean 22 seconds is an awful long time.
Did he
And
accidentally
the only
take
thing
tyres?
I was just about to say, I think it might have been tyres. We obviously will be able to see if he goes up on the jacks. And no, he doesn't. Maybe he's accidentally put the wrong amount of fuel in before. That's because I mean a penalty would not be that short, surely. So yeah, that's all I can think of is because these guys get fast repairs, don't they? So it wouldn't have been that. So yeah,
I think they do at least. But yeah, he wouldn't be taking repairs anyway, would he?
McHutchinson's made another mistake.
Oh, is it?
He's still
Yeah,
going.
and that's where he went off earlier on as well, isn't it? But yeah, the car's still clean. So I've just redone the points. Scoret, I think, would be 10th now. So Scoret on 100, McHutchinson 98, Veitonen 96. But that's well within the margin of error when it comes to the bonus points. We don't know what the situation with bonus points is. We know, obviously, that McHutchison isn't going to get a bonus point in this race too. But others might do. And others may have got bonus points in race 1. Again, McHutchison most certainly did not. So I guess that rules out McHutchison, right? Like, if we know that McHutchison isn't going to get any bonus points, then that means that he has to outscore Scoret. Whereas Scoret, if he gets outscored, then maybe there's still some hope that he got some bonuses.
Yeah, it's real tricky. See, this is the thing when you don't know. You're just guessing and pondering, and we'd love to know how many off tracks and whatnot everybody has, but it's very, very difficult to tell. As I think SDK kind of tries to guess how many off tracks people have.
Our system, I think, is a
good.
bit more strict to the white lines, though, whereas iRacing is very much,
Yeah.
you clip the grass, now that's a 1x.
Yeah, the iRacing. Ooh, that's a slight bit of contact
is
there
for the
between the
lead.
lever
And
and
more
contact. And that was a half drift there for Gabriel Berger, and I was not expecting for them to fight that hard as Lelive came storming through. They just looked like they just clashed into one another for the fun of it. I honestly do not know what was going on there. It was very, very awkward contact between the pair of them. But somehow Berger's managed to keep it out of the wall, which is very unlike this track. One bit of contact with another driver and it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to end up in a wall facing the wrong way. So he can count his lucky stars that he is still in this race, and not only that, he's still going strong in 2nd place as well. And I'm just going to have a quick look at Adam Locke, because I think he might have had a poor pit stop as well. Yeah, he did. 17 seconds for Adam Locke. he's not had a great race, this one. Of course, he somehow managed to win the first heat race as in the amateur class, but I don't think he's having a great time in this feature.
No, he's not having a good time of it right now. So, yeah, disappointing for our championship leader in the AMS. Just trying to figure out why Laliva was behind Berger. I thought Laliva was quite comfortably ahead of Berger before the pit stops. They came in on the same lap, and it was a bit of a bad previous lap for Laliva, so maybe he made a mistake, and that's how he lost the amateur lead. But he's back into the amateur lead now. Graf's still fairly close to them, so looks like it's going to be, what, 3 consecutive wins to end the season for Dorian Laliva, should he be able to hang on to this position. And now everyone's a little bit more spread out there. There are no battles going on. However, we have still got one more lap to go after this one. Only just though, and I'm hoping that McHutchinson's put enough fuel in his car, because his fuel calculator may well have said, no, this is only going to go 7 laps, but no, this is an 8-lap race, so we'll see if anyone ducks in. I would not be shocked if 1 or 2 drivers do have to make an emergency stop.
No, honestly, neither would I. And I thought McHutchinson's pit stop was suspiciously short. And, well, he's got about 50 seconds to wait and find out if he made the right decision. And if he did, fair play, because it actually has worked out pretty well for him. Although, judging by the gaps that we're currently looking at, I think he would have been fine just putting at least a litre or 2 more. But of course, you know, benefit of hindsight, so can't really blame the man for just wanting to gain a few tenths. But unfortunately for everyone else, there is going to be 1 more lap in today's race. And Sorensen, clearly having a slightly longer pit stop, has managed to go another lap. And it's about a 20-second margin. So everyone from 5th upwards would have to done another lap anyway. So McHutchison hasn't come into the pits,
right.
so
and this is tasty now for McHutchison, because he's 1.1 seconds behind Larson, and he needs to score. If he overtakes, then he will be tied on 100 points with Skurret. However, Berger's had to come into the pits, so Berger maybe was the one who underfueled it. So he actually put 9.8 seconds of fuel in, so I'm surprised of all the drives, he's the one who's had to come in. Oh no, it's a drive-through. He's maybe gone over the instant limit.
That's shocking.
So he's done well to reach the instant limit around this circuit.
Well, done well.
Oh, now he's going very slowly as well. I'm not sure what he's doing. I mean, it's barely a penalty. If you're going to get a drive-through at any circuit during the season, do it this one.
I mean, obviously, you'd hope to never get a drive-through at any track, but yeah, I guess if you could choose one, it would definitely be this. And not quite sure what happened to him. And like you said, it's impressive that he's managed to actually reach the incident limit. But even on, you know, SDK's vague, you know, attempts at trying to understand how many off-tracks people have, Berger does have the most out of everyone. Okay. So clearly he has had 1 or 2 offs at some point. Of course, we saw the contact with Laliva, and maybe that was 1 or 2 4Xs at the same time, because iRacing just does that sometimes. And yeah, got an 8X from that contact with Laliva, maybe had a couple other offs as well, and he got a drive-through. I don't think it's affected him too much, to be honest. It's not really changed his outcome a huge amount. I think he lost, what, 1 place, and that was it. So he can just cruise on home as long as his teammates doesn't decide to attack him violently in his last lap.
Yep, should be alright on that one. As we see Locke negotiating this corner, which of course has caught out a couple of drivers already today. McHutchison and I think Mellis as well, on 2 occasions. I think Mellis has spun on that corner. But yeah, Berger getting very, very close now to back of apologies, Locke getting very, very close now to the back of Berger, the 555 machine. And of course, just a reminder as well, because later on Apex Racing TV, we are broadcasting the America's Championship, Radical Sim Racing America's Championship, where it will be this, but sort of repeated again. A couple of the same drivers, I think, take part in that one. I think the Lip brothers might take part in the America's Championship as well as the European one. So yeah, do make sure to tune into that one. See who are the remaining 20 drivers who automatically qualify for the World Finals in 5 weeks' time.
I don't even think we touched upon it. I think something has very obviously happened to Iani. Someone who we haven't really mentioned much of today. I think he's had a bit of an awful time at the Nordschleife, which is understandable. It's hello. Oh, that's going to be contact.
Oh, is that round?
Oh,
well, that's any chance of getting those extra 2 points gone. John McCutchinson, he has had an absolutely dire race too, and he's fortunate to still be in the race, frankly. And had he got that position, he would have been tied on points with Skurret for 100 points. And of course, with Skurret under pressure from Reitsonen, that could have switched around as well. Of course, we've got the bonus points to come up as well, so not 100% sure about that one. But yeah, any chance of him getting into the top 10 are surely over, unless Skurret and Reitsonen crash into one.
Well, it's an inherent possibility. They are extremely close to one another. But I mean, that's just... I mean, to be fair, this entire race is obviously purely on McCutchinson. Every single thing that's happened to him has been on him, and he kind of only has himself to blame, unfortunately. He has been rapid, there's been no doubt about that, and if he does end up, finishing this last lap with the fuel that he has, he's done, without a doubt, the best pit stop strategy of anyone on the grid, about 1.5 seconds quicker than the next closest driver, which is just insane. I genuinely don't know how he's managed to do that, but he has. But he has also made his life extremely difficult. On the contrary, he's won twice, I think, in this race, and also just done that, and nearly taken Larson out in the race. They both did brilliantly, though, to avoid contact there. I think Larson had to be on his toes and might have had the Gran Turismo 7 radar somewhere on his screen to just warn him that there was a Flying Scotsman coming up his inside, and luckily they avoided contact. But like you said, it's going to be very, very difficult for McCutchinson now.
Yeah, very, very difficult. It looks like Skurret's going to finish with the points that he needs, even if he gets overtaken by Reitsonen. I think he'd only lose 1 point in that situation. So he would still be on 99 points ahead of McCutchinson, 98 ahead of Reitsonen, 97. It's very, very close. See who's going to get into the World Final, but this man booked his spot there a long, long time ago, and he's going to end the normal season with fantastic form. Is Lasse Sorensen. It'll be 4th place in the regular season championship, but with the momentum going into the World Final, he wins race 2. A great performance from him. It's a 2nd and a 1st for him tonight. It's a 1st and a 2nd for Andreas Friedrich, who finishes in that runners-up spot, and that might well be enough points as well to take the regular season championship as well. Congratulations to him. Lip finishes 3rd, Larson 4th, McCutchinson 5th. Does Skurret hold on against Reitsonen? It looks like he is. Not the onslaught I anticipated from the Finn on the last run through the Dottinger High, and it looks like Alexander Skurret will qualify for the World Final in 10th position in the championship. The others who did not qualify will need to hope that others don't turn up or decline their spots, or are given some rewards from the administrators.
I would be surprised if McCutchinson wasn't allowed in, considering that, like we've said before, he does turn up every single time that he does turn up, which is unfortunately not very often. So if he does decide that he would, be open to coming to the World Final and they let him in, I think he'll give us a damn good performance. But, I mean, in the end, I believe we can announce our championship winners. I don't think anything really changed for that at all throughout this entire race, to be honest. I think it is James Barry getting that pro championship in the end. I think.
It must be close. Oh, I'm gonna have to do some more sums. I was so
Yes.
caught up in the 10th place one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do some sums now.
It doesn't. I don't know how much it means to the drivers,
No,
but I mean,
no. Like I
winning a
think the 10th
championship
place
is
one
winning a
was.
championship.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's been a long season as well for the
Yeah.
guys. So like, they've had to work really, really hard for this one. Of course, going into this round, it was Barry versus Friedrich versus Lip. But it's definitely Barry or Friedrich because Friedrich scored more points than Lip today. So, yeah, I will smash some keys and see what I come out with. Still got Jorge Gonzaga, who is out on circuit, but I think we might get some interviews before that because he's going to be a while.
Yeah, he's probably going to be about another minute to go in this race. But I think, just based off memory, I think it will be Barry. It will be close, though. But I think his Heat 1 finish might just have saved him because that feature race was just a little bit off the pace for him. And, well, we can probably go through the final results of
Well,
that
I
feature
don't think
race.
they'll be published, unfortunately,
Oh,
yet.
yeah, of course.
But
Yeah,
maybe
I'm an idiot.
maybe if you want to have a chat with Lasse whilst I calculate the
Yes,
points,
good idea.
then we'll be able to confirm it soon.
Yes, of course, of course. As Lasse Sorensen now does join us. And Lasse, what a race. It was a superb performance by you in Heat 1, getting that second place. And, well, a very, very simple win in the feature race. Tell us how you feel right now.
Completely according to plan, I have to say. So I'm quite happy, but I'm also very sweat, of course, because I needed to push all the way. I didn't want this waiting game and get the top 10 into the batch, so I was just going for it all the way. So it was full push from start to finish. So I'm very, very happy, and that is the result of having time to put in some practice. So yeah, I'm looking forward for the duels then, I have to say.
Yeah, it definitely does give you the momentum going into it in about 5 weeks' time. But just talk us through that race then. Was it really, really challenging to try and save the fuel, especially since you had, well, you were in the lead for most of the race?
Yeah, no, I didn't save any drop of fuel at all. I was going full push from start to finish. So you see my lap times as well. So I was managing to put in the 17.9 on the last lap as well without draft. So I think the pace talked for itself then. So I'm so happy. It was just a perfect race for me finally.
Yeah, 100%. It was what you've been kind of looking for throughout this entire season. And,
yeah.
Well, it has been a good season for you, ending up finishing in 4th. And, well,
yeah.
Now you have, of course, qualified for the World Finals. Of course, we knew that a long time ago. And just tell us, how are you feeling now with this momentum? Do you think you will be able to take that victory in the World Finals?
Yeah, I think it's very open. It always depending on kind of tracks and how the racing will be there, but it's for sure a lot of really, really fast guys here. Some aliens out there, and we have also some aliens from the US as well. So that's going to be participating there. So it's going to be very tough and hard fighting all the way from start to finish. But yeah, I think the possibility is there to put in the necessary time in the practice together with the other guys. So we hope for the best and go for the win.
That's what we like to see, and very, very much looking forward to that race in about a month's time. And, well, thank you for coming and having a quick chat with us, Lasse. It's been an absolute pleasure watching you this entire season. And for one last time, anyone you want to give a mention or shout out to?
Yes, of course. And I got a reminder as well. It's top 13 from Europe, so that's going to the world and not only top 10. That was the first one. And you guys for the commentary and the broadcast, awesome all season through. The organizer have done an awesome job, judgment, but also setting up all these leagues and the racing. And teammates, EGL Coatings eRacing, EGL Coatings sponsor, and also Sande Trafikkskole.
Thank you for all the kind words, and I'm sure everyone out there as well will appreciate them. Thank you for your time, Lasse. It's been a pleasure. Good luck for the World Finals in about a month's time, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much.
So I was doing some points. Oh yeah, and yeah, just to confirm there what Lasso was saying, top 13 get through. So everyone got through. Everyone who
Yep,
were like,
so-
oh, will they get through or not? They all get through. Apart from Hawg, I don't think Hawg gets through. Unfortunately, he was 14th going in, and he remains in 14th. So he'll need some
He'll get a
generosity.
wild card.
But John McCutchinson, he's in. He's in. So that's all good for him. I did some points calculations, Aaron, for the championship. So
Mhm.
going into the round, Barry was 10 points ahead, but tonight Fujit scored 10 more points. So right now I
Ooh.
have them on 282 points each. However, there might be, I think it might come down to the bonuses, honestly.
Could do.
Barry got, how many things did Barry get? Barry got 0 incidents, so he definitely got some bonuses. And Andreas Friedrich, he got
a few.
2 incidents, so he will only get 1 bonus point. So by my calculations, Barry is ahead by 1 point, but I'm not sure who got the bonuses in race 1.
Yes.
So it's either a tie or Barry's won the championship by 1 point. I'm not entirely sure. So hopefully we will get confirmation on that before the end of the broadcast. But hey, look at that. I mean, with 24 races, 12 rounds, and it comes down to either a tie, which I guess would then go down to race wins,
Count back,
or it's 1 point. So pretty cool stuff. Let's have a chat with another one of our drivers. Then, who have we got available? Have we got any race winners available?
Adam Locke, technically.
Adam Locke, did he win? Anyway, well, yeah. Actually, I'm curious with James. I want to know what the situation with the championship is. James Barry joins us now. James, I've got a spreadsheet open. I'm not entirely sure what the situation is. By my calculations, you've either won the championship by 1 point, or it's a tie and we have to go to countback. Do you know anything more than us?
Right, so first race is 1 point per position, so Andreas beat me by 2 points. Second race, I'm pretty sure it's 2 points per position, so Andreas beat me by 8 points. But then I got 0 incidents, he got 2 incidents, so I would have at least 1 point more than him in that. At least 1 more point compared to him.
Do you know if he got a bonus though in race 1?
I got a bonus as well, so we got the same
Oh,
amount.
good. Okay, so yeah, you should be sorted. Nice one. So congratulations. I think that's the normal season championship for yourself. I mean, that must mean a lot, seeing that it's been a really long championship. I mean, I'm not sure if you've taken part in a championship which has gone on quite this long before, but you've had to work away at it. It must be really satisfying for yourself.
I think when I look back at the 4 races before this, I'll be, very happy with myself. But today, that was, when I was young, the first ever F1 season I watched full season was 2007, and I was a huge Hamilton fan. I was 7 years old then, and when I was falling down the grid in that race, I was just having flashbacks to Brazil of that season. Plus, I think 2008, a similar thing was happening where Lewis was dropping down the order when he obviously needed to win those races to win the title. I was just crumbling in that race, and I think I don't know, partly because of the pressure, but certainly a lot because of the track. I was just screwing myself over so much, and ultimately, I can't be very happy with how I did today. Andreas did an amazing job today, and I only won the season now because of bonus points. He's been faster than me all season, and Christoph as well, of course. So it's very mixed feelings ultimately. But of course, at the same time, I've got to be happy that I won the championship at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is not the type of circuit that you want to have, I guess, as a championship finale. But when you were driving around there, were you? I mean, you mentioned like the feeling of it slipping away. I mean, when you crossed the line, did you know that you'd won the title? I guess you didn't know how many bonus points Andreas had. So I mean, yeah. When did you find out that you clinched it?
So when everyone pitted, and I realised I was in 6th, which I did not think I would be in because I lost time in the pit stop because I had to add more fuel than I first put in. Then I lost time just making mistakes. I missed the carousel like in half of the laps. I lost so much time with my own errors. So I was shocked that I was coming out in 6th. And then when I was in 6th, then I knew I just had to stay in 6th because I assumed that, so earlier in the race I noticed that Andreas he had an incident. I didn't know what it was exactly, but I noticed that he lost some time. So I assumed that he would have an incident point from that. So when I was in 6th, saw that he's in 2nd, I assumed that I just have to come home with 0 incident points, and that would be enough. So yeah, that was how it was.
Yeah, really good. Good job on the instant points in the end, and then going into the world final, of course, in a few weeks' time. Do you think it takes the pressure off slightly now that you've won the normal season championship? You know, that's sort of in the bag, and like that's sort of perhaps the championship that you had the most control over, I guess. I mean, in the end, there's going to be an element of luck when it comes to the world final. Or do you think it's a bit more pressure? I mean, after all, you arguably go into the world final as the favourite after winning this regular season championship.
And I think keyword arguably, I would not favourite myself for that. You know, I was favouriting myself to win the championship today. I didn't think I would make it quite as difficult as I did today. In the world finals, as you say, it's a bit of a roulette. I mean, obviously, the faster you are, the more it helps. But ultimately, there's going to be many drivers who are going to be in with a shout. Many drivers, at least probably 8 of us or something, who could potentially win on that day. So I'm not thinking about that now. I'm just going to just relax now, because that race was just probably the toughest race I've ever done. And to come that close at the end of the championship is just mental. So I'm going to relax now. I'm doing loads of other series and championships as well at the same time, so I'm going to have to quickly just switch focus to those. And yeah, in the world final, let's just have fun with it and see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, really congratulations, James, on the title. You thoroughly deserve it with your performances this season. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, of course, my teammates as always, George, and I have to shout Andreas again. Like, he just did an amazing job today, and I don't think he deserves to lose his championship, but it is what it is. And Christoph, of course, for his performances all season. Bearing in mind he missed a race as well, and I think had an internet disconnection at Watkins Glen, I remember. And then I'm also just going to shout out my mum for all her support through all these races, my dad for all his continued support, and my sister as well, because she always likes watching my races as well. And once finally everyone just involved in setting up all these championships, it's been really fun for the whole season.
Well, thank you for coming up and having a chat with us, James, and best of luck in 5 weeks' time.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
That was James Barry there, your championship winner for the regular season. And we'll have another interview. Who do you want to check up?
Difficult choice. I think I'll go with Christoph in the end, because we'll probably have a chat to Adam as well at some point. But welcome back, Christoph. Maybe a bit of a more tough afternoon than you were hoping. But in the end, it was a great comeback from you from last all the way up to 3rd. Just talk us how you're feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fun race. It was, I think, the second time I think I started from the back. And that was interesting to go through the field, and people were racing fair and left me by. And yes, I was able to reach the 3rd place, which makes me happy.
Yeah, as it should. It was probably one of the best comeback drives we've seen so far this season, especially at the Nordschleife as well. And I have to ask, in that first race, when it all kicked off and you had your incident, was that all 4 of you kind of playing mind games on each other? Were you trying to let each other through to, be behind one another going on to that final straight, or was it just mistakes from a couple drivers?
No, I think obviously you don't want to be in the front position when it goes on the last straight. So I made that small mistake, and the guys passed me. Then Lasse did the same. I mean, yeah, obviously on purpose, I guess. I'm honest, I did the same. Yeah, then I wanted to pass him, and yeah, I think he blocked me off, pushed me a bit in the grass. At least from my vision, yeah, was unfair at that point. And then I did the mistake and complained on the chat. And at that short moment, I lost the focus and missed the breaking point, and that was it. So it's my own mistake. I shouldn't talk while I'm racing.
Yeah, I think we've all been there at some point, just gotten a bit hot under the weather and yeah, just made some of those mistakes, and very easy to do. But either way, apart from that first heat, it was a brilliant drive from you nonetheless. And well, that probably does give you a little bit of momentum going into the World Final in about a month's time. How are you feeling for that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have no clue if it's decided already where we're going to race, but that will be really fun to race with the US guys, and yeah, looking forward to.
Yeah, should be some good fun, and should be some surprises as well. Will be good to see how the Europeans and the Americans stack up against one another. Well, thank you for your time, Christoph. It's always a pleasure to hear from you after the race and across this whole season. And before you let you go, anyone you want to give a mention or shout out to?
Yeah, of course. Congratulations to James. If not calculated wrong, I think he won the championship. He really deserves it. Great guy, fast guy, consistent, and yeah, congrats to him, and as well to Andreas for the second place, if that's right, and also for today's victory of Lasse.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I believe it was James who ended up winning the championship, and it honestly could have been any one of you three. You all put on an amazing show throughout this entire season, and I cannot wait for you guys to go at it again for the World Final. And thank you once again, Christoph, for coming and having a chat with us, and good luck in about 4 or 5 weeks' time.
Thank you.
Well, we will have one last chat then, this time with Adam Locke to round out the interviews for the season. And of course, Adam managing to get the points he needed tonight to win the regular season amateur championship. Congratulations, Adam. It was you're looking very good going into this round. You had a strong 17-point lead, but you had to finish it off, and that must be a big sigh of relief to get those results that you needed today.
Yeah, it was a massive sigh of relief. I've never raced at Nords, so I had no idea what to expect. Just been doing practice leading up to it, but it's not the same as racing. So yeah, it was good to have that buffer, but I still needed to finish.
Absolutely. Did you know the circuit before? I mean, have you driven the circuit on other racing games, or was this literally learning, which way the track goes these past couple of weeks?
I think the last time I drove this circuit was Gran Turismo 2, so it was a whole relearning it.
Sure, yeah, that was a very good effort from yourself, and it looked like there was some good battles out there as well. I mean, you qualified well in race 1 and were able to get a pretty good result, but it seemed like yourself and Gabriel and Dorian in parts as well, and Menno de Graaf as well, you all seem to be very glued to one another. I mean, maybe you're not totally familiar with it, but often at Nords here we get very spread out fields. It's not very competitive, but it seemed like yourself was pretty much in a battle from start to finish.
Yeah, race 1, I certainly wasn't expecting the win until the last corner, when unfortunately Dorian and Gabriel came together. But yeah, it was great. That's how it's been all season. We've just been battling backwards and forwards, and yeah, it just sums up the whole season, I think, between us.
Absolutely. And then going into the World Finals in a few weeks' time, who do you reckon out of the other AMs are you most looking out for? I mean, do you think the main opposition is going to come from the guys that you've been racing so far this season, or do you think maybe some of the American drivers will be able to fight with you guys as well?
I'm sure there'll be some of the American guys in there, but I'm fully expecting the battle to be with the usual suspects of Tom, Dorian, Gabriel. Yeah, I think it's that mixed with a few American drivers. It should be close and it should be fun.
Definitely. Well, we wish you the best of luck for that one. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
My wife for putting up with all the ups and downs of the season. Gabriel for pushing me close all the way to the end, and all my other fellow AMs for a great season.
Absolutely. Really glad that you've enjoyed the season, Adam, and yeah, we'll see you back in a few weeks' time.
Yes.
That was Adam Locke there, your amateur champion for the Radical Sim Racing European Amateur Championship. Well, that pretty much rounds out the regular season. Aaron, of course, we have got the World Final in 5 weeks' time. That should be a fantastic climax to the season. We're going to have probably our most competitive grid of the entire season. I mean, combining 2 different divisions with the best drivers from each to battle it out over the course of a couple of half-hour races. It's going to be high pressure, and I think it will be a really entertaining, very tense climax to the season.
It most definitely will. I mean, this has been going on since, I think, what was it, February we started? This has been a long old year, this one, and we've still got one more race to go. And like I was mentioning, I think it was to Lip. I think it's going to be super intriguing to see just how well the Europeans and the Americans do stack up against one another. We've seen teases of it when we do the Friday series. I think the likes of Castro, who's part of the American side, he has had some performances where he just blitzes the entire field, and then has some performances like on Friday at the Nordschleife where he completely stuffed it and did awful. So I think that's going to be the best part of it, is just seeing how much better the Europeans are than the Americans.
Yeah, let's see how they can fight against one another. And yeah, really a bit of an unknown. I mean, going into that really important race, some of the drivers we have not seen race against one another. So will be a fantastic event. Do make sure to check it out in 5 weeks' time. It's definitely going to be one of the highlights on Apex Racing TV to the end of the year. Of course, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well and check out all our other streams. We've got much more racing in GT cars and single seaters and prototypes and all sorts. So you subscribe to the channel, and I'm sure there'll be a few other series that you are interested in following along. And of course, do check out the Apex Racing TV social medias as well on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Of course, moments from each of the races, probably a couple moments from this race as well, will be posted up on there, so you can check out all the best moments that occur on Apex Racing TV. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, and from Aaron Smith and from Lee Thompson as well, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you back in 5 weeks' time for the Radical Sim Racing World Championship Final. See you then.